So we're going to look at now, should we abolish whiteness? It's a very fashionable idea that's taken hold in our institutions with top universities, academics, newspapers, politicians, even the Church of England.
The Welsh government.
Yeah, the Welsh government, which was, at one point,
They actually said it, though.
At one point, all the leaders in the UK, like Humza Yousaf, whatever the Welsh government guy was called, Sadiq Khan.
Oh yeah.
What's his name?
Leo Varadkar.
Yeah, Leo Varadkar and Rishi as well. Yes. Everyone was non-white. We'd sort of abolished whiteness. It was seen as a golden
accident.
Era. And
what a total coincidence.
Yeah, so these ideas, they start off in universities and then spread. But are they right? Is abolishing whiteness a good idea? Is racial genocide a good idea now? Luckily, we know we're going to look at some places in a moment where
we're going to look at history and say, no, it's not.
Whiteness has been abolished. In Haiti, Liberia, and Zimbabwe, they've all tried this experiment of abolishing whiteness. So we'll find out if it delivered some sort of frictionless utopia, or if, in fact, the diversity trainers and academics are wrong. But yeah, you can see some of these ideas. So Cambridge University, one of our grandest institutions,
founded in like 1380 or something.
Yeah.
Like literally founded before most of these people arrived in like their foreign lands. Sorry, go on.
Well, this is Dr. Priyamvada Gopal, an Indian-born academic at Cambridge University, who tweeted, "White lives don't matter as white lives." And she also tweeted, "Abolish whiteness," which is nice. Obviously, she herself is the product of immense privilege. She's the privately educated daughter of a diplomat and a member of the elite Indian Brahmin caste. She also has the privilege of being comfortable with outdoor toilets. So if a white person tweeted this about a non-white race, they'd go straight to jail. Like, straight to jail. If somebody
don't collect $200.
You wouldn't need to wait for the Hope Not Hate PDF. Like, straight to jail. You know what I mean? She wasn't jailed. She was promoted by Cambridge University, and all the academics stood by her.
I can kind of explain what she's saying with it, right? When she says abolish, what was the exact quote?
So she said, white lives don't matter as white lives. Right. And in a separate tweet, she said, abolish whiteness.
Yeah, so white lives don't matter as white lives. What she's saying there is the category of white is, for her, a socially constructed cultural category, right? Now, I appreciate that this is a kind of bait and switch, because obviously this is, what I'm saying is in the construct of whiteness, and whiteness being white Protestant Anglo-Saxon culture that respects, telling the truth, following the rules, showing up individual rights,
private property.
Yeah, not being someone who was raised in a mud hut sort of thing is basically what she's saying. And so that she would say, look, so what I'm saying is white people need to live like Indians, right? That's when white people are valuable to her. So she would say, I'm not calling for the genocide of white people. What I'm saying is the abolition of their culture is what's important. So they have to live like an African for them to become a valuable person.
I quite like white culture.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Sorry if that's a hate crime.
Weirdly, I like the culture I was raised in, and I'm comfortable with it, and I think it's the way that we should do these things, But that's her get-out clause, and that's why she would have been promoted in Harvard or Cambridge, wherever it was.
It's interesting that academics say that race is a social construct that was invented because prior to 1700, white people didn't call themselves white people; they just called themselves people. But that just shows that there wasn't mass immigration prior to 1950.
Well,
people never used
the exception that proves the case in the exact meaning of.
If you never see a person who's not white, you don't think of yourself as a white person because there'd be no reason. It's like we've all got two legs, so we don't walk around describing ourselves as two-legged people because we just take it.
But if we encountered a race of four-legged people, suddenly it would become an important distinction.
Yeah, then we'd be like two-legged people, and that would be a social invention of two-legged people. Anyway, and also Bahar Mustafa, who's the Goldsmith student diversity officer, she tweeted urging people to kill all white men. So and then the media defended it, obviously, said it's just funny, haha, you know what I mean? And
no, please explain.
Yeah.
Bahar Mustafa is now, she's something to do with the Cystic Fibrosis Trust, so make sure to increase your donations. She does the, whatever it is, some made up job. Basically, cancel. If you give money to a charity, cancel that donation straight away. All it's going to is going to people who hate your country and want to turn everybody gay and abolish whiteness, and not even gay. They probably see turning gay as some sort of oppressive thing now, because gay isn't enough. Like, you got to be some
Gays
sort
are
of
privileged versus trans people.
Yeah, so that you've got to be some sort of gender queer.
Gays are the white people of the LGBTQ.
They genuinely say that.
That's how they say it.
They genuinely say that. So cancel your charity subscriptions and donate instead. Get a Lotus Eaters subscription, or Leo Kearse has got a Patreon. Why don't you? He puts amazing content on there, and none of the money goes. I don't have a diversity department. All the money goes to me being a dick. Anyway.
Yeah, donate to us and we'll uphold whiteness.
We can expect ridiculous ideas like, abolish whiteness to flourish in places like Goldsmiths University, Cambridge University, but it's also happening in the Church of England, which you might think the Church of England would be nice to white people, given that, they're the only people limp enough to actually go to the Church of England.
Assuming I knew nothing about the Church of England, yeah, I might think that.
So this is a church archdeacon, the Venerable Dr. Miranda Threlfall Holmes, Archdeacon of Liverpool, who wrote on Twitter, "It was very good, very interesting, and made me realise," she's talking about a training, an anti-whiteness training, abolishing whiteness training she went on. "It made me realise whiteness is to race as patriarchy is to gender." So yes. Why is she? I mean, it's good.
Yeah, she's right, and I'm for it. I'm 100% pro-patriarchy at this point.
So to be honest, at the moment, like the way I see the patriarchy is, people are like, oh, the patriarchy, it's set up by men to give men power. It's like, no, it was set up by women to ensure men behaved in a way that, supported families and supported women.
Another way of looking at patriarchy is rule of dads.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm a dad. I agree. In fact, we're all dads, right? Yeah, patriarchy, rule of dads. We're in total favour of it.
Yeah, yeah.
If there's one class of people who's looking out for everyone else, it's the dads.
The dads. We need a dadocracy.
No, 100%. We need a dadocracy. I am entirely in favour of it.
I think we should sort of try to adopt the dadocrats as opposed to sort of, getting called alt-right or things like that. Apparently, I'm alt-right. I didn't know that. Well, I only found out yesterday.
I said the other day, this is basically just the dad right. Yeah. That is, I just see it like all different layers of like, Zoomers who have just had their first
dadocrats
kids.
is the way to go.
Yeah.
Dadocrats is the way to go. It has a nice ring to it.
So she said, and this is about the training she went on, so yes, let's have anti-whiteness and let's smash the patriarchy. That's not anti-white or anti-men, it's anti-oppression. So she says...
It's anti-reason, it's anti-good.
Yes. She says anti-whiteness isn't anti-white. I'm pretty sure it is. You know what I mean? It's literally in the phrase anti-whiteness.
Again, what she's saying is, if you're living like some African bushman, then you're fine.
Yeah.
But while you're not living like an African bushman, you're oppressing me.
Yeah.
And honestly, if that's the case, then I'm pro-oppression. I'm not going to live like an African bushman, and neither of my kids.
And they have such a naive and patronising understanding of what, Aboriginal life, what indigenous tribes were like. They think they're all like living in harmony and holding hands.
Remember, they're like, oh, they don't have a word for rape. Oh, that means that rape doesn't exist then. So what, oh, there we go. The word rape was invented by patriarchy to protect women from being raped. Just FYI.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's carry on.
So, and this is an idea, the abolishing whiteness thing. It's been propagated out to wider society, with 1 in 6 hiring managers reporting being told to stop hiring white men. And it's in our schools as well, with teachers instructed into how to disrupt the centrality of whiteness, and parents told to be white traitors. And obviously, any sort of all the cultural stuff. We saw Sophie Duker on the Frankie Boyle show being like, kill whitey. It's all through our culture. You'll have seen it, so many times, and they make it blatant. So, if you'd say, something like this. So
this was in South Africa.
This is in South Africa. F white people. So they say a court ruled it's neither racist nor hate speech. But, if you say the faintest, most codified thing, like against
pick any other group,
non-white people, then, you're literally going to go straight to jail.
To be fair, this does represent the demographic breakdown on dating apps, though, right?
And We've seen people like, Sam Melia get sent to jail for distributing stickers that said things, and they showed these in court. They said, and all it said was it's okay to be white. So saying it's okay to be white is a racist hate crime. You go to jail. Saying F white people is not racist and not hate speech. None of this.
I'm glad you've worked out how this works. This is why Leo is currently not in jail.
I'll give it a few weeks.
Exactly.
And also people, our politicians are on board with it as well. So Dawn Butler from Britain's ruling Labour Party explained why white people are worse than her because she's black. I think we can play a little bit.
Can we play this, Samson?
You wanted to see me broken, head bowed and tears in my eyes. More fool you didn't realise that my strength is powered by your lies. You are the wrong one, the violent one, the weird one, whereas I am the chosen one, because I am of the first one. You see this skin I'm in, this beautiful mahogany brown, this skin you don't like, I believe. So why you try so hard to achieve by burning yourself in the sun? For me there's no need, because I am the chosen one. For I am of the first ones. I know I'm black and beautiful, an African freedom fighter. My skin is my protection. And you, my friend, don't matter, because I am the chosen one. For I am of the first ones. You created a structure that made you seem great, when the simple reality is, it is all fake, because I am the chosen one. For I am of the first ones. So you wanted to see me broken, head bowed and tears in my eyes. More for you haven't realised. My strength is despite your lies.
Why is there a chair at the end?
And why is the chair white?
Yeah.
That she's elevated by sitting on white
I have
thing?
no idea. Maybe
don't
she's
understand.
recording over. In the old days when you'd record over a James Bond film with football, and that's what's happened here.
But look what she said there, though. It's like, look, you created this giant, great world of all things. That means I can use an iPhone to call you a racist online. and
Has anybody
this
put
is
the
all
Great
fake.
Zim
It's like,
next to a cathedral and said that the Great Zim is the superior one?
but but she's got a point. It's like,
seriously.
when she's like, this is all fake. It's like, yeah, no, this is artificial, right? This wasn't natural. It didn't spring out of the ground, fully formed.
And you might be thinking that, surely these academics and politicians and all the rest of it, they don't actually want to abolish whiteness.
Oh, no,
they just mean abolish white cultural behaviours, like being able to form a queue or listen to music on public transport through headphones instead of through the phone's main speaker, or establish a civilization, like you said. And it's like, no, they literally and explicitly state that they want to wipe out white people. So Harvard, this is Harvard University Magazine.
Good old Ignatieff.
Yeah. And he says, the goal of abolishing the white race is on its face so desirable that some may find it hard to believe that it could incur any opposition other than from committed white supremacists. I mean, I'm sorry for wanting to exist. Jesus, I didn't realise that me being allowed to breathe was white supremacy.
The only person in opposition to Noel Ignatieff is Adolf Hitler himself. That's the only person.
And here's an academic, Zeus Leonardo from UC Berkeley, another esteemed institution.
His name is actually Zeus.
That's a cool name, though.
Okay. It's slightly...
And so that's why I'm coming up with this recent understanding that to abolish whiteness is to abolish white people. And that's very uncomfortable, perhaps, but it asks about our definitions of what race is and what racial justice might mean. Okay?
So he's explicitly
So again,
saying...
Roediger is asking
He's
the same
explicitly
question
saying,
again.
might as well stop it.
What was that, Sam?
He's explicitly saying, we want to wipe out white people.
So, okay, again, he would say, but what I'm doing is actually a very clever trick. I'm saying that we should abolish the category of white. And therefore, I mean, who's committing all the hate crimes, right? So I'm actually kind of in favor of this. If we abolish the category of white, I can't go to jail for being a racist. so, checkmate, Zeus.
Yeah. Well, it's getting so unpopular to be white these days that some people are actually racially transitioning, like Rachel Doazal, who caused uproar when it was revealed that the black rights activist was actually white and had turned herself black using spray tan and talking in the cinema. And
ironically, was Germanic, I think.
Right.
Literally parents from Germany.
She got the
person in the world.
She got the hairline of, that Somalian rapper who's on TikTok. She's got with a Klingon hairline that starts halfway back. She managed to get that. I don't know. That's pretty convincing. And in the culture, we're asked, why is it a problem? A Sky reporter on the next tab literally says to Robert Jenrick, our next Prime Minister, why would it be a problem?
I think there are certain places in this country where people are not living side by side, where we are a very divided, segregated society. If you look at the centre of Bradford, for example, 50% of people were not born in the UK. If you look at the centre of Luton, almost 50% of people only arrived in the UK in the last 10 years. If you look at parts of Dagenham, the white British population has reduced by 50% in the last 25 years.
Is that a problem?
So I think, well, the pace of change is immense, and people are sick of that. People want to see mass migration ended. They want to return to the levels of
move to the
immigration
next
that we
tab.
have
Sorry,
enjoyed
just-
as a
Why
country.
is it?
If only someone wasn't in the government that was doing this to us.
Yeah.
Like, he was the bloody immigration minister under Boris, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
So, like,
he's had a bit of an
he was
awakening.
directly involved in it. Like, the Boris wave came in under his watch. I mean, don't get me wrong, he resigned. He was like, oh, actually, maybe swamping the country with millions of foreigners isn't actually what I signed up for.
Yeah.
But, like, come on, man.
I think a lot of people are sort of sold this utopian. It's an ideology. It's a religious belief that multiculturalism is good and it's going to benefit the country. And now we're seeing that it's not a good thing. Actually, countries function better when they're.
As someone from the Middle East, the idea that multiculturalism is a good idea.
Yeah,
I mean, let's swap places.
yeah. Look at all the
swap
places.
places.
Look where multiculturalism has been taken to its logical
Man from
extent.
Lebanon, you know
So, yeah,
what?
Lebanon.
worried about
Sorry,
this.
come on, guys. Like, this is just.
Like we
Have
can
you-
see Lebanon, Syria, Yugoslavia. These are places where multiculturalism has been tried. We don't need to, have sort of arcane academic theory to decide what's going to happen. We can see what is happening. And why you take a country like Britain, like Albion, that had, such a solid, cohesive culture all the way through it from top to bottom. It was we were like Japan, and then be like, no, you know what we need to destroy this high trust society and just bring in lots of people from random cultures. Not even like, a lot of immigration is, high skilled, is culturally assimilable.
Yeah, but
A lot
most of it
people from
isn't.
Europe, and people from Japan, I've never heard anybody complain about, Japanese people have moved in next door and it's a nightmare.
There was
They're
that
being so
FDR
quiet.
episode, but okay.
But so much of our immigration, like the people from the Mirpur Valley that came into post-industrial
It's
towns.
not even just that. Like, the immigration figures themselves, it's something like, what was it, 100 or 200,000 were actual workers, but like 300,000 were dependents.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you doing?
And then once people are here, then you get chain migration
Yeah.
where friends and family can follow them. It's nuts. So yeah, people say, well, white people, like this is Ed Crassenstein, he says white people will one day no longer exist. It's just a matter of time. Who cares? Who cares? Why would anybody care? So who cares? Well, who know? Like we know what happens.
I care about me existing and my people existing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, have
able
you
to
considered that that's
considered?
racist?
Well, let's just see, because we've abolished whiteness in some places, and
true.
maybe it's worked out really well, such as Haiti.
Well, look
which-
at the number of shootings that have clearly gone down because that guy has a wooden gun.
This guy, yeah, I didn't even realize this till Samson
Why
pointed
is
it
he
out.
holding it that way?
He's holding.
Like, you swing a stick, you don't. What are you going to do?
What,
Poke him?
Do you not remember the cargo
Swing
cults?
stick.
Yeah.
Cults get. Look, this is a cargo cult of a man who's got a gun. Yeah. But the murder rate from shootings is doubtlessly down in Haiti. So I don't know what you're complaining about, Leo.
Well, by the look of it, the murder rate from beatings is also down. I mean,
Well, maybe.
that's with that.
So Haiti,
Starvation up, though, so.
Haiti at one point was the crown jewel of the French colonial empire. It was the most profitable colony in the world. It produced a huge portion of the world's sugar and coffee. And it now ranks among the poorest nations in the world and produces a huge portion of the world's barbecued human testicles. So Haiti's wealth was generated. I mean, there was slavery. It was pretty brutal. Nobody disputes the cruelty of that system, especially British people who ended slavery. Hey, you're welcome. You know what I mean?
I mean, that guy is literally called General Barbecue.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's literally his
Oh
name.
man, yeah. If you get an invite to a barbecue in Haiti, I mean, it's a fun thing, like, in Britain.
Are you
but-
invited to eat, or are you on the menu?
Yeah, you when
Are you a guest, or are you on the
they
menu?
start rubbing you with a marinade when you get there.
Just eat the mud cookies.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So then there's a revolution in 1791, and it's portrayed by the left as a simple slave uprising killing white oppressors. But Haitian society was more complex than this. They had a layer of free black Haitians who often owned slaves themselves.
And mixed race.
Positioned above the whites, who were themselves separated by class and European origin, with the French hated the most and some other nationalities respected for sometimes siding against the French. And then after independence in 1804, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Haiti's first head of state, ordered the massacre of nearly all remaining white people on the island, including women and children. That was abolishing whiteness, which apparently, according to these academics, is good. And, to give an idea of how much these guys hated white people, Dessalines' secretary, Boisseron Tonnerre, stated, "For our Declaration of Independence, we should have the skin of a white man for parchment, his skull for an inkwell, his blood for ink, and a bayonet for a pen." So he should really be a professor at Harvard. That's the right attitude. And thousands of white people were killed. There was the Haitian massacre of white people, and the new Haitian constitution banned whites from owning property or becoming citizens. So it was the first explicitly race-based ban in the New World. Even sympathetic white allies who had supported the revolution were expelled or murdered. So be careful what you wish for or side with, all you leftists.
So what you're saying is it's not all bad.
It's like the Iranian Revolution. When all the socialists got executed.
It's bad, but a bunch of leftists also got it. So,
they got what they wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
They got what they campaigned for. This was an ethnic policy of racial purification. By abolishing whiteness, Haiti destroyed its administrative class. So a lot of professionals, merchants and technicians were either white or mixed race. So their removal created a power vacuum and led to the collapse of the bureaucracy that sustains society. Haiti also shut itself off economically. So by annihilating and expelling the French planter class, Haiti lost the expertise and international relationships necessary to maintain large-scale agriculture and trade. And it invited permanent international isolation, so the US and European powers viewed the racial violence with horror, and France demanded reparations in 1825 for its lost property.
Bad. Long series of bad things.
Yeah, long series of bad things that came from this abolishing whiteness.
But I'm sure it worked in Zimbabwe.
Oh yeah, we're going to move on. I mean, basically, Haiti now has had over 30 coups since. That's for any Scottish listeners. I'm not talking about cattle. They've had 30 military overthrows or attempted overthrows of the government.
Nearly as many as in France itself.
Yeah, yeah. And there's no. I mean, right now there's no semblance of a sort of stable functioning government in Haiti. It's run by. Things are so bad.
Are you impugning General Barbecue?
Man, you don't even need a gun. You can have this stick gun, and you can still run around. It's mental. And they've in 2024, gangs attacked the national penitentiary and freed over 4,000 of their gang members. There's thousands of kidnappings every year. It's
but enough about Hillary Clinton.
It's the only. Oh yeah, remember all those celebrities went there to
One of the Clinton's people got arrested and is currently in jail. Is it?
Trying to smuggle
Silsby, I think. Laura Silsby, I think her name was. Literally trying to smuggle orphans out of Haiti.
Jeez.
So, actually, that is somewhere that apparently there's a weird network of people who steal children from.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how humanitarian that would have been, or if it's
well.
Yeah,
so it was all for good cause.
So Haiti is a completely failed state. Police stations have been abandoned. Children are unable to attend school. So the white population, I mean, they did successfully abolish whiteness. So they will get an extra bit of DEI funding. The white population of Haiti is now pretty much zero, except when virtue signaling lefties fly in to score some virtue signaling points against Trump. So yeah. On the plus side, we can now see what a libertarian anarcho-state looks like, free from the tyranny of government. On the downside, it turns out you do need a bit of government tyranny to stop people eating each other. So,
just as a quick thing, though, I can't help but feel that if, for some reason, say, maybe Yorkshire's government collapses or something, probably not going to turn into Zimbabwe, though, is it? It's probably the Yorkshiremen will be like, okay, well, we'll just get on with things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about Yorkshire with the demographic changes that are happening.
Okay, maybe Yorkshire, maybe Devon. Then you know, if Devon's local government collapses and it becomes, an independent sovereign country, probably not going to turn into Zimbabwe though, right? There's probably some difference there.
Well, yeah, this is the thing about blank slatism. This is one of the ideologies that our ruling class still absolutely believe in, and consider it an offensive racist.
It's a
sacred thing. But obviously, if you took the population of Norway and the population of Somalia and just moved the people to opposite countries, it's not some sort of magic soil that makes Norway prosper and be functional and stuff.
Hang on, we could really get one over on the third world here, right? Because if they all actually were like, we'll just swap countries. You can have our wonderful country with all this infrastructure, and we'll have your terrible country with gorgeous weather.
Yeah,
and it'll be like that forever. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, we'll swap. We'll get a nice piece of land that we can then build.
Yeah.
And we'll have nice weather.
Yeah. And places like Haiti, it's got incredible mineral resources, fertile farmland. They
could have whales.
Compared to Iceland, which is basically, an Arctic desert with some fishing rights and stuff. And Iceland's a completely functional country. The people in Iceland, the people in Haiti swapped. And also, it's a cultural thing as well, because right next door to Haiti, on the same island, is the Dominican Republic.
With a massive wall.
which hasn't had this, push, this mad rush to abolish whiteness or anything, and it's a very successful, functioning country. So moving on to Zimbabwe. So Europeans arrived in Zimbabwe hundreds of years ago. I appreciate we're getting short on time.
Let's give us the lowdown. Did it work?
So basically, Zimbabwe, Europeans arrived there, created a functioning country under this.
It's not just a functioning country. The Rhodesia was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Some people would say it was a bit racist, but then others would say it was a functioning country.
Others would say they had food and power.
They had food. They had so much food they exported it to other parts of Africa and fed not just Zimbabweans, but fed other people in Africa.
They managed to function under a decade of sanctions, under constant military attack, while maintaining food production and developing their industries.
Yep.
You drop 300,000 Anglos in Africa, and this is what you get.
Whereas if you were to today cut off all foreign aid to Zimbabwe, you would see some consequences.
Yeah.
If you were to impose this, this mythology around Africa and the Wakandization of history is just completely insane. And you see it happening all the time, and it's just a sick joke. My mother was born in Liberia.
How's that going?
God.
We're going to get to Liberia in a moment.
Well, we better hurry up because we are running out of time.
All right, yeah. So basically, Zimbabwe, then Mugabe took over, and it worked for a while, and then slowly he became more Marxist. I mean, to be honest, Marxism is kind of a white ideology as well.
Yes.
So he started stealing land and all the rest of it. So. Abolishing whiteness didn't work in Zimbabwe either.
Right.
And you can go to my YouTube channel. I'm going to do a sort of deep dive into this, and you can see all the bits that I'm missing out now. But Liberia is the only country in the world where you're denied citizenship if you're white. So you have to be black, and you preferably have to be born in Liberia. And it was created in the early 19th century as a project of the American Colonization Society. So basically, it was freed black slaves could go back to Liberia and create a nation there. But the thing is, there are already people there, so it created sort of two classes: the people who came in.
As I understand it, they enslaved them.
Basically, yeah, they kind of enslaved them, and they were an elite class. The people who came from America they were the Americo-Liberians, and they governed the nation with a steady, if somewhat sort of insular and slightly in-group racist hand, and it worked.
Abolishing whiteness can work if you have a slave class.
It worked for a bit, but then the native Liberians sort of rebelled against them for the short story, and now it's sort of degenerated into. I think it's more stable now, but it had a good couple of decades of just relentless coups and fighting.
Standard punishment was to amputate both hands,
right?
And you could opt for long sleeves or short sleeves.
Jeez,
you could.
Short.
This would be short sleeves.
Yeah,
and this would be long sleeves. This would be short sleeves.
So why would anybody choose short sleeves?
Yeah.
Because at least you can get like a hook.
Sometimes they gave you a choice. Sometimes they didn't.
Right. Yeah, well, basically, abolishing whiteness didn't work in Liberia either. And yeah, just to finish up on, if we go look at the next thing, so we can see white people. I don't know why you'd want to abolish whiteness, because if you look at how racial groups rate each other, white people are the least racist of all the groups surveyed. So they have a very similar rating of in-group preference and out-group preference. They see everybody pretty much the same. And if you look at every other group, they have vastly stronger in-group preference and more negative out-group preference.
And all of them rate whites the worst.
Yeah,
Which I found
absolutely.
to be genuinely hilarious.
Yeah.
In every respect, particularly from the Asians, really.
What's going on with the Asians?
Yeah.
Listen, bros, you're the second whitest. They're coming for you next.
yeah.
I'm serious.
And it's it's not really fair because like
it's not really fair. Like I think we're a bit beyond that, bro.
I think we're slightly past that.
and it's one of these things. It's like I think there's this idea of transactionalism, like the socialists in Iran were like, oh, if we're nice to the Islamists and help them, then they'll help us back. Same in the UK, the Green Party, like, oh, so we're going to be nice to the
Islamists help them
Islamists.
back?
No, they didn't. They
really?
slaughtered them, executed them, jailed them. It's great. So. It's sort of, and also we, white people abolished slavery. We do some pretty altruistic stuff. This is misleading. Europeans aren't responsible for 97% of all inventions.
96.6%.
We were responsible. Europeans. It's quite a small, portion of Europe. From Scotland, sort of across to Germany and down to Spain. It was during a period of, basically the Enlightenment. Yeah. All the world's inventions happened in Europe then, and now. This is the Home Office. So I'm wondering why our establishment is supporting this abolishing whiteness movement. But now white people are going to be essentially abolished. Like in 1900, about 30% to a third of the world's population was white, and now it's just 7%. You can see in the last tab. The Guardian were even writing about it. This is 24 years ago. UK whites will be a minority by 2100. I mean, that was actually quite optimistic, and it's going to happen sooner than that. Especially
no one expected the Boris wave.
Exactly. Yeah. Nobody thought the Conservatives would get into power,
crank it up to more than 1 million a year,
and act like the most Marxist academic you could possibly get. So yeah, that's what's going to happen. It's probably going to push us to civil war. It's going to be horrible.
It would be the first time in history that a major indigenous population has voluntarily become a minority. Well, you can't call whites indigenous anymore.
Well, that's how they've got
voluntary is doing a bit of heavy lifting there, and is a bit of a bit premature.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing that the Guardian used to use words like indigenous for white people?
2000, this wasn't something stigmatized by Cambridge academics.
Yeah.
If you would like to watch the full uncut version that is also uncensored, head on over to lotuseaters.com to find out more.